Greetings, everyone! My name is Netterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. In this semi-weekly morning livestream, I'll be covering a combination of both Veersmith levels and other levels for the next 2 hours, primarily focusing on the former. And afterwards, I'll be showcasing some art posted on the Discord server. Yeah. This is going to be probably 50% levels, 50% discussing other things related to gaming. Downgraded to semi-weekly because, yeah, I've been going through some burnout. And last week was the Steam Next Fest demos, but those were an awesome and necessary palate cleanser, so there's that. Welcome to the stream, Jedox, Sinesk, Raccoon, Stunflora, Pixel Boy, J Butters, Oscar, all the watchers on Twitch, and anyone else who I missed. Glad to see you all here. As usual, Next Fest was awesome, and I can't wait to do the next one at the end of the year. And before that especially, Sage 2025. So, first on today's lineup is Cosmic Flower by Sunflower Zumaril, 70 plays and a score of 6. Hopefully by skipping a week we get some, at the very least, decent levels. I know Toxin G is on the list, so we're gonna have at least one good stage. Okay, let's do some peaceful. Flowers opening up. Let's do base. So how's your week in gaming been? I was gonna talk about the Steam Next Fest demos, but I wanna wait for Jaden to arrive first. Yeah. I have noticed that for Sunflower, many times they do have these opening and closing animations during the stages. It's a nice touch. Easy peasy. So this is basically a space garden. Hi Stompy. Hi Stompy. If you want to see where your level is on the queue, follow the link in the description below. And if you want me to cover your levels or have any level you want me to get to, please leave the ID either in the Discord server or in chat. I see. I'm gonna have to open these up. So he's back here, so... grab the reset. Okay, I need to hit the green switch somewhere. Thanks for the healing point, Dan. You're great. Especially good. It's less confusing for sure. How do we get past? I need a green switch to... Okay, let's do a rundown of what's happening here. So okay, we can go to this room to reset our life energies. Climb up here. There's yellow teleporters which take me to... Ah, okay, I see it. Oh no, I see the problem. See, it's being obscured by the health bar and there's a bit of a green background there. That's why I keep overlooking it. Oops. See, I didn't even notice it there because the health bar kept covering it up for at least half the duration, and then there was also the green background. Thank you for letting me know about that. You may want to rework that a bit. I was gonna find it eventually by using the base boost to comb through everything, but still. Anyways, we're out. Bug? Yeah, I heard about the broken blue beams. Interesting. So now they become just a pure obstacle like that item from Mega Man 11. Hey Dave. Your level will be added once I'm done with this one. What made you think you were watching a video like that? Oh. Oh. Hi, Power. Hopefully I'm nothing like that channel. Misty Icicle somewhere, probably in the chaos. You mean FNAF Secret of the Mimic? Thank you, Dan. Okay, I think I need to go through... Okay, wait, that switch I can see. Yeah, these mazes are less confusing. First one was the most confusing one by complete accident. I just gotta find the other switch. And I wish I had the charge shot. Okay, gotta find purple next. By pressing the blue switch, these are accessible now. I get it. Sorry, again, blending with the background. I was paying more attention to the enemies nearby, so I completely overlooked that. Okay, now I can hit this switch, which will now allow me to get that key. Which means I can now go through that teleporter right there. Hello, patio. Welcome. It's still less confusing. The most confusing parts here are not even due to the maze's structure itself, it's the buttons being kind of blending in with the background. Ow. I want my daily dose of E. E. Okay, Maze Tree. Sylva's fixed their sleep schedule, so they're not going to be here today. Very likely. I don't know where the key is, I wasn't paying enough attention. It is color-coded, so... So that's what happened, they pressed it again. Ah, okay, I need to press it again. That's it, I have plenty of V's, let's do this. And we're out of the cyber maze. Well, I do have this. Never mind, Sylva's here. Is the Deltarune spoilered time frame lifted yet? For chapters 3 and 4? Let me check. First though, let me cut down Woodman and Plantman. Okay. I was planning on chopping him down, not burning him to cinders. Let's see... it's been over 2 weeks, so yes, spoiler period has passed. Deltarune's Chapter 3 and 4 were released on June 4th. And it's been 2 weeks and 3 days. Unless people here say wait a little bit longer. On the server, the spoiler period is usually 2 weeks. That's fair. I give 2 weeks because barring certain exceptions, because if you wait too long, interest will die down, or various other things may be discussed, or various other happenings may happen. I feel like 2 weeks is usually a nice gauging point. There are certain exceptions, for example, if the game or media is too long, or if things are developing too fast. In that case, there's gaming spoilers. Ah, you caught the joke, Sylv. That's one of the techniques I have to ensure you're in the know. Anyways, that was actually a decent start to this week. Much better than most of the levels last week. I do appreciate the cybermaze sections, especially the last one. What made them tougher isn't so much their circumnavigation, it's more the fact that I missed the green switch in the first one and the purple switch in the second one. Especially green, as it was obscured both by the life bar for half the time you jump, and then followed by the fact it's green on a green background, so yeah. I don't know. Probably would change it so it doesn't get obscured, and that would make it a lot easier. Thank you for your level, Dave. It's been added. You took 12 turns! 12 turns added to your inventory. Anyways, second up is Penumbral Storehouse by Cyanesque. 21 plays and a score tree. Oh, someone spoiled them on the Regal reveal. Well, that sucks. Yeah, that's one of the things I worry about when doing these let's plays, this is one of the things I worry about when I'm streaming the game live. Accidentally getting spoiled on story beats. I also worry about getting spoiled on the gameplay beats, but typically for most of the games I play, there's a lot more variation in gameplay, so even if I know something's up ahead, it may not turn out the way I hope or expect. Oh gosh. Oh no. Oh no. That was a terrible jump. Paltry, but it'll work. I'm not gonna be one-shot by most enemies now. Yes! And that is splendid. That too. We're back in business, folks. As I was saying, that's one of the reasons why I worry when doing live streams being spoiled about story beats, and to a lesser extent, gameplay beats. Not so much an issue in most of the games I play, either because they are not really that story focused, or even if they are, most people don't actually attend those streams other than Jaden, and sometimes Pixel Boy, J Butters, and Sylv. So I don't have to worry about that too much. But when I eventually get around to something, I don't know, like Trails, something that's much more spoiler heavy, that's where I'll have to get worried. I'm really surprised when I was covering Danganronpa, no one spoiled some of the major reveals later. Thank you for that, viewers. At least this week we're actually the first, well, I should say this week, we have promising starts at the first two stages because they're actually trying and are decent. I shouldn't say that the levels last week were not trying, it's just that they either didn't interest me as such or they weren't that well executed. That's part of the reason why I like the Next Fest, Palette Cleanser, and allows me to sample many games from different genres. My bad. 2. And they allow me to sample games from many different genres without having to fully commit. I know Jane ranted about this a lot more than I did, but as we're well aware, most of the people here are only here for Mega Man Maker and to a somewhat lesser extent Mega Man fan games. Which is a shame as there are a lot of other cool video games out there. And also because I love playing Metroidvanias. And also, when I eventually cover the Gravity Circuit, well, it's main seriously? And when I eventually cover Gravity Circuit, that is pretty much Mega Man-like. Oh, context, joint spoilers or contextless spoilers, they're fine, I guess. I understand that, J Butters. Okay. Bonanza looks awesome. It's like Super Mario Odyssey 2, but better. And it's been quite a while since DK's last 3D outing on the 64. One day we'll see Papyrus. I'm curious how Chapter 5 is going to turn out, considering how things are building up, and how Chapter 4 ended on a bittersweet note. Like, unless Toby decides to pull a fast one on us, it's pretty obvious where Chapter 5's Dark World is going to be, or based off of. Unless they decide to go even further with the ideas in Chapter 4 and end up having multiple Dark Worlds from various locations. Can Tenna run the Switch 2? Tenna's a TV or a monitor. He's not a console. Well, considering he's an old CRT display, we may need some adapter cables. Oh, him. Oh, that secret fight and the context behind him is brilliant. One of the many reasons why I think Toby's awesome. If anything, I'm very curious to see the various endings of the games, because knowing how the quote-unquote secret route is going, I'm very curious if the game's gonna end on Chapter 5 if you decide to fully embark on the secret route. Sans was one of my favorite characters in Undertale. And Deltarune, honestly, I'm gonna wait and hold off on that, but it seems like there's... Like, I really want to know what exactly happened between Asgore and Toriel that resulted in their divorce. And why did Asgore get kicked off from the police? Poor Chris. He's going through what many children of divorced parents go through. Especially when one of them actually finds love again. I don't know if that's actually the case. Could be Toby pulling a fast one again on that. To be fair, the biggest mystery right now is what in the world's happening at the shelter. And of course the identity of the Roaring Knight. I think it's fairly straightforward who is the true identity of the Roaring Knight, but again, I'm wondering if Toby's gonna pull a fast one on us and just show, oh wait, there's more than one Roaring Knight. I wouldn't put it past Toby to do that. I'm referring to Toby as a singular person, as well as the whole Deltarune development team and story writers. Oh yeah, and also Gaster, aka him. Deltarune Chapter 4 has the most connections to Undertale through the Old Man / Gaster. Well, the Old Man / Gerson as well as Gaster, but I'm very curious what's Gaster doing. I'll say this, he's a great hype man for the Chapter 3 bonus boss. Who is Mike? Is he a cryptid? I would like to discuss Mike more, but that requires more context than I can give right now. Okay. Mystery. Gaster or mystery? There was also the whole thing about, okay, this goes into Chapter 4 ending spoilers. After Susie punched the mirror or mural, her hands bled. It was established in Undertale that monsters don't bleed; they turn into dust. So either she's not a pure monster, or monsters in the Deltarune verse actually bleed as well. Sunflora. Oh yeah, before that, as for the stage, compared to Cosmic Flower, this is more of a romp fest. It was fine. I died too many times because of not compensating enough. Otherwise, it's there. Alright, to Sunflora. Individual Pokemon popularity cycle. A Pokemon becomes popular, Game Freak starts featuring it very prominently. Afterwards, backlash against it happens. You basically hype backlash. I can see that. If something becomes too popular, in most occasions there'll be some sort of backlash against it. Of course, I say that, but sometimes Game Freak goes a bit too far with over-featuring things. Charizard. Awesome Mon, sure, but can we please share the limelight with other Mons? Pretty please. Once we beat the Knight or Knights, we're gonna seal the castle town found permanently. And then Susie will try opening it again, but it's a weird effed up version that has all the darkness turning to statues, or worse. And that will end up summoning the Angel on the pacifist or neutral route. Like, I suspect the Angel is going to be the true final boss of the pacifist or true pacifist route. Also, a question that hasn't been answered yet is, who opened up the original castle town found in the first place? And we know that the Darkners are based off of either originally inanimate objects or the remnants of deceased Lightners. So who is Rousey or Rousey? I mean, it's pretty much established that Chris and Carol are in cahoots with the Knight. And probably Asgore. And pretty much Asgore too. I was gonna say it's Des because the sprite during the fight against the Roaring Knight in Chapter 3, it looks like they start out with a baseball bat before it turns into a sword. Of course, that could also be a red herring. But yeah, I think on the regular routes, I think in the neutral and pacifist route, by the time we reach the ending, one of the main lessons is going to be having to move on and live in the quote-unquote real world. And thus, Chris and Susie will have to permanently close the castle town fountain, living on with only the memories of... keeping the memories of their time in the Dark Worlds close to their heart, and treasuring their friendship from there on. I feel that's what's gonna happen eventually, in order to prevent the roaring and the Angel. And then there's Azrael, who we know nothing about other than he's Chris's older brother. Watch as Toby introduces him, and he's basically not involved in the main plot at all. That would be hilarious. I would like to see Azrael and Rousey meet each other. Like, it would be really funny if Azrael ends up having basically little to no connection or involvement in the main plot, as a mirror to how important he was to Undertale. that would be hilarious. Yeah, watch Azrael just be a one-to-one Rousey who's older. I guess a memory of, but we learned from that chapter that it has to be some sort of physical dust or object that's very, very close to Azrael. I mean, you could argue that in Undertale, Deltarune, though, he's in college. Unless they're lying and he died in college. But I doubt we're gonna go to that. Like, I know there's funny theories, but that's explicitly disproven. Unless Asriel dies in a car accident in Chapter 5. Anyways, enough of the intermission, let's move on. Number 3 app is Mega Marino League, Season 1, Sharper Silhouette by Toxin G, 47 plays, score 24. Alright, time for a very solid stage. One person could be Asriel. One of them at least. Oh shoot. Okay, only the loading time is lagged a bit. I know I asked this before and I'll say it again. What was the Mega Marino League about? Sorry, it was... The announcements of it as well as when his run was during kind of my burnout phase. I will say this, the effects on everything are beautiful. Yeah, let's get the silhouette effect on for a bit. True, but do they have the same voice as in the letter? I know Susie read Asriel's letter in Chapter 4 in the church. I think it's acid. We just went down the waterfall, that's all. That is a very pretty effect, too. Best comparison could be like those sunset levels in Country Returns. And even though I only have access to the Flame Sword, the level is built around that. Pointing it out because many levels screw that up, unfortunately. Again, as a mirror image to what I talked about during the X Fest, I'm not gonna be as harsh as here as I did there for any mistakes or perceived slights. Even though I was being extraordinarily nice compared to a lot of other critics or reviewers. But as I was saying, because many of these people are amateurs, or doing it in free time, for fun, I'm not gonna be as harsh. Yeah, where is Muffet? Probably back where Alpheus moved from. Splendid, it's not over yet. Cool, we got out the purple goop. You know, as many jokes as I make Jay Butters, one of the questions I will have later is just how many Roaring Knights are there? Is it actually just one? As much as the purple gum looks was nice, this looks even better. And how many people are actually working in the bunker? Shelter, whatever, what have you. Yeah, Napsa book shows up at the end of Chapter 2, you're right. Whoa. Oh no, we're oil now. Well, that's one way to reset our health. What if there are 4 knights, like 4 cards? Well, we know there's king and queen. We've seen a joker in the form of Jevil. But who's the ace then? Oh boy. Help. Is that Lancer? If we're using the card terminology, we've seen king, queen, we've seen joker. Who's the ace? Rules cards? Darkness can't make fountains, yeah. Also, how many dark fountains are currently active? Like, there's the castle town in the school, there's whatever's happening in the shelter, and, is there more? Okay, as for the stage itself, best one this week. It doesn't quite focus as heavily on its main gimmicks. Okay, let me rephrase that. Compared to other levels which follow more discrete level gimmicks or specific block types, this one mainly focuses on the aesthetic and the base level design of using the flame sword to deal with the enemies, and trying to procure the keys to open the key doors. There is the rolling cogs too, so you don't fall in the water, and also we need to progress. But otherwise, not as gimmick heavy compared to other stuff. Otherwise, it's very solid. It's a little bit more basic levels in terms of complexity, but what it does with the building blocks it has, it's cool. Only Lightners can make fountains with enough willpower and if they have the knowledge to make a dark fountain. Yeah, we haven't seen a Darkner make a fountain, which is correct. You have a point, J Butters. It was never said that Darkners can't make the dark fountains. I don't recall that. I know it was explicitly said that Lightners can make dark fountains, but not Darkners can't make dark fountains, so thank you about that. I'm doing fine. And the Knight isn't a Darkner because they can travel between both worlds, as was well established by Chapter 3's ending. Someone ran into the shelter. Well, two things, Sylph. Point A. They believed... Point A. King and Queen believed down in their hearts that they couldn't actually make a fountain, so they didn't. Or B. Even if they knew they could make it, perhaps they don't have the power, fortitude, or determination to open it up. Like, even if you know you can make something, that doesn't necessarily... Like, even if you know it's theoretically possible you can do something, that doesn't necessarily mean you can do it. Right now, at least. Or want to do it. All right, in the case of Queen, would B, I would go with B. Or in the sense that she couldn't actually do it for whatever reason. And still, A may apply because, and still, A may apply because even if she was down for making a fountain, she was always trying to get a Lightner to do it. Maybe she believed that as a Darkner she couldn't open one. Yeah, when I say us, when I say us, I mean Chris and the player. But yeah, we'll get to that. That's another thing I want to get into. I want to see them getting more into of at what time did Chris get taken over by the soul? Or we took over the soul? I'm guessing that it started chapter 1, of course, but why then? Alright then, forward up is Donkey Kong Country 3 on Mega Man Maker style, Part 1, Battle Patio, 68 plays, score 42. Like, it's starting from the beginning of chapter 1, we control Chris through the soul, but why did we only gain control then? Like, something feels kind of... I have a feeling that in some way or another, the player was summoned to control Chris. The question is, who or what summoned them? And they aren't necessary for sealing the Dark Fountains, so... What do you mean, YouTube? What do you mean by these types of levels? Okay, so this is like the docks levels. Piers. Alright. Sawmill. Yeah, I know about that. About the Gaster secret. Probably since Chris was born, but we seen one of those 2 weeks ago, YouTube. Oscar makes plenty of them. Like every time, pretty much every time I cover a level by Oscar, they're functionally adapting a level made in a different game into Mega Man Maker style. Infinite top spin, yeah. Thank you for giving me infinite roll. Are we going through all the worlds in the Northern Hemisphere? aka DKC tree? Beginning of the Raddies. Ah yes, the randomized stage, which was also present here. No, only 4 levels. Yeah, I would go by the same logic too. I just find it curious that we as a player were able to gain control at the start of Chapter 1. Before that, it's unknown. So, I may be reading too much into that. I'm just curious why that time in particular. Well, I understand from a gameplay reason, I'm just seeing it for the story reason and considering all the meta-narrative about the souls and what else. Okay. The forest level. Three climbers. Yeah, like Chris can actually operate independently of his soul, even though it kind of turns him into a zombie, which makes me even more curious. Is it a matter of age? Oops. Yeah, the secret. Is it a matter of mostly age, or is it something else? Well, when I say, let me clarify when I say age. I realize there's a bit of an issue with my statement. Let's fumble this entire section by bum rushing through it. And it works. Could be the voice. I feel like my theory is that due to Gaster / him or a summoning ritual, we were allowed to gain control over Chris's soul. Okay, that didn't work. We were allowed to gain control over Chris's soul and influence his decisions, or control his decisions. However, compared to doing the same thing with Frisk, the main difference is I feel like with Frisk it was either from birth, or it's because they're a kid, so they trust the player more. Or that because they're a kid, they have less willpower. Okay, we're doing it this way. So we're gonna squeeze in between. Ooh. I mean, it's doable, there's space. Yeah, willpower, determination, take your pick. Yeah, this is the monkey who throws nuts at us. Although it's a little bit harder because we can't go up and down as fast. Compared to many other stages where you adapt where a stage or multiple stages from one game are adapted to Mega Man Maker, Oscar. This does a better job with the adaptation process. It could be done better, but it's, fine. Like, it's recognizable as the original stage, but it also works in the Maker format, although I feel that more flourishes could be done to make it even better. To make up for the missing assets. We're talking about Undertale and Deltarune on YouTube. If you haven't played that game, none of this will really make sense. And you really need to pay attention so you can, especially with the meta narrative. My theory is, okay, my next theory on top of the other theories is that all the humans cannot live without their souls. They can be temporarily separated from them, but they turn to zombies and after a while they die. So somehow or through some way, we're able to gain control over Chris's soul and hence be able to influence and control their actions while the soul's in their body. When I say gain control, I mean our will is forced. That means whenever Chris really wants to make an independent decision, they have to remove it from their body. Hence the actions at the end of Chapter 1, Chapter 2, start of Chapter 3, and of course, that whole section in Chapter 4. Chapter 4 especially. And long enough to drink the chocolate sauce at Holiday's house and get drunk off of that. Okay, fifth up is MMDMA Max Stage 4 Cyberspace Station version 2 by Tedley, 70 play score 4. This is a sampler of the full level pack I'll cover eventually. I asked them to send me one of their strongest stages and they sent me this. You know, let's do the less challenging way. Hi Memrich, welcome to the stream. Oh yeah, and then there's also the weird Snowgrave route, which is another whole ball game of I totally understand why Chris dislikes us taking control of their soul and forcing them to just be witness as a passenger to the whole adventure. Most of it. It especially becomes justified during the Snowgrave route because oh my goodness. Trying to turn Noelle into a second vessel, a more compliant one who won't fight. Jeez, that's brutal and messed up. Yeah. Chris can be temporarily independent of the soul, but if he stays too far disconnected from it, he'll probably perish, waste away and perish. And if any harm befalls the soul, Chris will also take the damage. I'm curious though. What if Chris's soul is separated from their body, and Chris's body takes the damage? Will then also carry over to the soul itself. Thank you, Memrich. I mean, that's completely fair. The reason why Chris dislikes the player is because they take pretty much complete control over their body and their actions, and force Chris to be a passenger in their own life. That would tick off many people, most people, and tick off is an understatement of the year. In the regular routes, Chris wants the soul, and they need it because to seal the Dark Fountains, and as we learn, only way to actually deal with the Titans and the spawn. But in Snowgrave, it takes a much more sinister route. Bonk. Oh, shoot. E. The 9 bot has been defeated. I believe we're gonna gain control of Noelle back in at least chapter 5 because I seen some of the videos where they hacked Noelle back into the party, and she has some unique dialogue for most of the new equipment pieces you get in chapters 3 and 4. I think it's all but certain she's coming back. Also, the unused wares like the ribbon and the true prophecy, which it'll be curious to see how far this game goes down. You can't fight fate versus fate is malleable. I mean, in chapter 2 you can command her to attack, but I guess it's more I don't know. We're going too far down the speculation route. Next up is Angola Charmcaster by Janox74. 35 plays, score of 9. Welcome everyone who's just joining us. We're discussing Undertale and Deltarune universe spoilers, especially in regards to chapter 3 and 4, while also playing Mega Man Maker. On the contrary, I think that'll depend on which route you take. Considering how Ralsei has a different, considering Ralsei says something different at the end of chapter 4, if you decide, oh shoot. Considering Ralsei says something different to Chris and by extension the player, if you take the Snowgrave route at the end of chapter 4, I feel like you will be able to defy fate. Or defy the prophecy, but not necessarily in the best way. Like, you can end up making it better, or you can end up making it, or you can make the outcome end up being far worse. Of course. These birds are pissing me off. Excuse me, let me do it this way. These birds are pissing me off. I'm the original Starwalker. I will also join. I like how Sylvan's the only one who's actually getting their talking style down right. Remember to include the spacing, folks. Oh. Okay, that's different. We don't usually see it this way. Especially next to crystal droppers. If YouTube strips away the spaces, just use ... It's funny. Oh, Toby and making sure that every character looks and sounds differently. I knew spending all those weeks on DA would eventually come out and help. I knew spending all those days reading stuff on DeviantArt and fanfiction.net would eventually help. Yeah, I think YouTube messed it up. So yeah, ... it is. Oh my god. Okay, okay, okay. Let's do this. Yeah, if the crystal droppers had a more obvious tell, or they had a consistent timer, I'd be fine. It wouldn't be so bad. Whoa, my goodness, whoa, hang on a sec. We have kind of a situation here. Keep freezing, keep freezing. Okay, this is one of the more unique stages you've sent to me, Jethawk, in the past few days. Because this time we have to rely on the frost weldies freezing up the ground. Oh no. You didn't put it... Okay. The checkpoint was probably right after that section, was it? Even in Mega Man 5, it's kind of, I get to follow a consistent timer. It's still a bit tricky in the 5, especially without the shield. And it takes a bit of a while to realize it's like shoot, 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 pause, because the time between each of those actions varies. That's more Oscar J. Butters. And there is iteration happening, it's not the worst example. There is iteration, but let me put it this way. I think the stage would be better if it focused more heavily on... That's a cool way to force us to fall here and keep moving. I think this would be a little bit better if we focus more on this mechanic. Like, this is an iteration of what happened before. Keep coming, keep coming! No! We're almost there, we're almost there. And if the stage ended here, it'd be fine, but let's see how it develops. Okay. Oh boy. 2, 3, 4... Pause. No. Time Slow does make this a lot simpler. Keep going, little Arc Weldy. Arctic Weldy. As long as I don't jump, it doesn't shatter. Good to know. Oh, that's cool, Sunflower. Happy 2nd Mega Man Maker anniversary. So, my issue with the Crystal Droppers, specifically of this engine, and it may probably apply also to the original Crystal Man. I don't know. 5 isn't exactly one of my favorite games in that. Here, if it shoots 4 times and then pauses, sure, then repeats the pattern. The issue is that the time between each of them, especially during the pause phase, it's random. So, you can sort of predict it, sure, but if there are multiple of them in quick succession, if there are multiple next to each other, and if there's an enemy nearby, or other gimmicks, well, you have to add all of that into your cognitive load. And add to that they can be randomized too with the pauses. It means they can desync with each other. In addition, they're off-screen, making it worse. So yeah, that makes it much tougher. Danger ahead. No. I think this would be a good point to end off the stage. Lol. Like, hopefully it ends right after this section, because we developed the gimmicks a little bit far enough. I disagree with Jay about his point about half the level being the same copy-paste, because there is iteration on this, but after this one, I think this is a good point to end off. Okay, this was the final section. I would cut down on the sections that don't really involve the icicles, but I would cut down on the sections that don't involve the icicles and crystal droppers as much. When I say icicles, I mean the frost weldies. Otherwise, it was fine. I don't think the... I don't think the balloons were actually explored that much as a gimmick, but it's fine. Oh, you're dead. Like, the balloon was mainly used near the end. Outside of the one vertical section, the balloon was mainly used for pushing the player forward and putting them into an environment where they have to advance quickly. Yeah, my issues at Genox stages is, well, let me use this as an example. My issue with many of Genox, well, it's kind of hard to compare Genox because they do 3 or 4 different types of stages. For this particular type of stage, they do iterate on the main mechanics. Like, I can't argue saying that the crystal droppers, Arctic weldies, and even the balloons are used, and even the bubble generators aren't used in more complex configurations, and it does iterate to a climax. The issue is that they could be shorter and nothing much would be lost, especially some of the intermissions and the horizontal spike sections. Even the final section I would kind of swap with the second to last one, because that would work better. See, you can get by with removing one of those sections and it'd be fine. Especially like if the stage ended in the second to last section with the Arctic weldies and the crystal droppers, it'd be fine. What I would do to make this more, what I would do if I was making this stage is replace the final section with one with the crystal droppers and Arctic weldies. However, make it a vertical section, or make it more vertical, so you have to climb up a series and use the Arctic weldies to get up. Or have a section where you have to descend using the Arctic weldies, slowly moving your way downwards, making sure not to fall into spikes. Or vary up the terrain more so it's not as even. But I would have also liked to see more of the bubble bombs, bubble generators, but yeah. Not one of Genox's best levels, but it's okay. I still prefer this over Oscarm because this actually explores his mechanics and varies up things. It may also be the case because I played over 5,000 levels that I notice changes more readily, even if they're kind of minute in the grand scheme of things. These crystal droppers are pissing me off. I'm the original Crystal Man. Anyways, thank you for the level, Memrich, or MemYCH. I'm gonna take a short pause and then I'm gonna continue on to Oscarm stage. then Dave, then MemYCH. Be right back. And I have returned. Let's take a look-sees. I would mention one thing about Starwalker. Notice Starwalker's wings. Go back to Chapter 1 and notice Starwalker's wings. Compare their wings with the Titans. One of my friends pointed that thing out, and the similarities are uncanny. GG and thank you, which I forget. I'm sorry, that's me a lot of days. Arms, wings, details. 7th up is Balloon Fight Challenge by Oscar. 21 plays, score 6. Okay. If we're not assuming Starwalker, note the bird's wings. Beat, come back! We're not done yet. Seriously. Oh my gosh. I keep getting frightened by this. Okay, if I do it while flying, it actually one-shots them. Oh, hey Burstman. Come back down here, please. Bye. So yeah, riding on top of a beat is actually its own damage type. So hanging on to beat and bonking an enemy using the broom, that's its own damage type. Hello, beat? Never thought that holding on to a bird, it just modifies elemental affinities, so to speak. That's kind of hilarious. Normally I'd say, hey, kind of repetitive with the main gimmick, but these go by very quickly, so not too bad. Tengu Man. Oh yeah, this is gonna be funny. Oh, we can stop in midair like that. Alright, World Tree. Oh, come to me, Beat. I wish you worked more like Rushnet. Okay, this should be a bit easier. Well, what? The bouncy ball got me? I'll answer your question in a moment. Okay. Premature Titan spawn. Summoned by the night and it's using them as a spy. Well, if I was actually being used as a spy, I'd be probably checking out bigger channels. I've watched Spaceballs many, many years ago. It's great. Man, the amount of And the amount of hilarious jokes and its core affectionate callbacks to Star Wars are great. Not callbacks, references. I don't know what to think about the two, but we'll see. Yeah, it's gonna be a miracle as well. If it's at least half as good as the first movie, I'll count that as a success. Oh boy. Oh boy. You're not allowed to go up here. Honestly, the funniest parts are the boss fights. World 4. How many worlds does the stage have? Is this the lake world with the fish? Nom. Nom. Only 4 rounds, good. I know this has a similar criticism to most of Oscar's arcade adaptations, which I'm not going to repeat because I've said those ad infinitum. But for this one, it doesn't really. It's not too much of as big of an issue because each of the mini stages goes by pretty quickly. What? Views? Hello? What was that? We win! Jeez, I was gonna do the fun finish and beat just completely missed me. Accurate beat. Well, the boo beams are the replacement of the balloons in Balloon Fighter or Balloon Kid. Well, you could also just use targets to have the same effect, but they wouldn't shoot back at you. They made them boo beams so that we actually had more challenge to it. Otherwise, it suffers from many of the same problems as as pretty much all of other Oscar's arcade adaptations. Although this one not as much because it's shorter and it goes more swimmingly. Here's the thing, Buster. If it's an adaptation of an arcade, if it's an adaptation of an arcade game, then yes, it's pretty much like this. I had a whole rant about that. See, I had a whole rant about that a month or two ago. The only thing that came out of it is agree to disagree. Like, I don't think, at this point, I don't think Oscar's gonna take my advice on it, so I don't bother repeating it unless people ask. That being said, the more interesting of Oscar's levels are when they when they actually adapt something that is closer to Mega Man or can be closer, like the DK94 stages. Those are actually some of Oscar's better levels because they more naturally get translated into the Maker format. The other ones though are much more hit or miss. Usually on the miss side because of... See, I don't mind having the accurate arcade adaptations. My issue with many of them is that they overstay their welcome. And are too samey. So, that answers my question, Buster and J-Botters. That's why I don't really repeat this as much because everyone knows it, and everyone knows this already and it's either accepted it or doesn't pay attention. Anyways, at least this time around we got 3 good stages. Or 3 worthwhile stages that justify having the stream. And hilariously, those are the first 3. Okay, not just 4 to be fair. I should also count Jethawk's level because that was neat. Alright, 8 up is MMU14 Tinkerman Wacky Workshop by Neko Dave. 21 play, score 4. let me grab this just in case. Again, one of the many reasons why I feel Next Fest is necessary, as well as the many other games. Again, one of the many reasons why I feel like the Next Fest, Flash Game Weekends, and other streams are necessary. Otherwise, I'd burn out a Mega Man Maker far, far, far quicker. I'm sorry. There are still good levels, but they're still interesting and fun levels, but they're few and far between, and in many cases, they're never actually submitted to me. They end up languishing with barely any plays or views. And ratings. Now, as for a creator who started out kind of bad, but actually is now decent, see Dave. What I appreciate— oh no, Dave, you forgot to add a screen boundary. The other thing I appreciate about Spaceballs is that it's an affectionate parody of Star Wars, and you can really be— underneath all the jokes, irreverent humor, references, callbacks, and general silliness about the whole phenomenon, you can see the overall love about the underlying franchise they're referencing, making fun of. Yeah, please fix the wall for that, because even if the wall didn't exist, even if there was— if the wall didn't exist, it still wouldn't work because, nothing's there and it looks like it broke. Someone said this in a different server, but I think it bears repeating. You can tell how much effort was put into a parody of a movie or franchise or genre or whatever, depending on how much the creators or writers treat the underlying media as a stand-up comedy routine or go further than that. And Spaceball goes way farther. Like they don't just parody the movies, they also parody the whole phenomenon. Why else do we have the whole Spaceballs the Flamethrower merchandising joke? Even Scary Movie 1 was that to a certain degree. Oh my god. Okay, yeah, I would fix that. That doesn't seem right to me. That just seems like gotcha off-screens. Here's the thing, J-Butters. They actually used to exist in the server, but they either stopped the. Here's the thing, J-Butters. They actually used to exist, but the problem is they grew disinterested in Maker, and so they don't really post in the server anymore, or they left. Wow, that was all on me. Like, long before you arrived, J-Butters, we had a lot more active level designers on the server with different styles, pros, cons, focuses, strengths and weaknesses, and even interests. But unfortunately, that's mostly dried up now. So we end up seeing we end up seeing the same 5 or 6 people every single time, which is unfortunate. Thank you for fixing that. I was gonna say that this stage was actually kind of decent, and I like iteration on the challenges. Like, this kind of rectifies the issues that J Butters had with Jedok's stage. Unfortunately, then we have the off-screen transition traps. Don't do that, please. Again, it's a big shame, but I should expect it. Maker is 7 or 8 years old by now. It's really showing its age, and people are moving on to greener pastures. And unfortunately, slash fortunately, the people left over are most of the people left over weren't that skilled in the first place, or are now, or they're newcomers. And to be entirely fair to most of those people, they're not trying to make good. They're not just trying to train their craft, becoming a much better Mega Man level designer. They're making these levels for fun, for the fun of it, and then sharing it with their friends and anyone who wants to play them. Oh gosh, this is a way to make the fight much harder. Bouncy. Oh my gosh, you're supposed to... I'm dead. Come on. Yeah, I thought you were supposed to go up the wall there. Sorry. Oh, darn. Define current Disney. Why do you keep wanting to do... Okay, I don't know what your pattern is anymore. Like, I need a time frame. Really? I don't like using the quick boomerang for boss fights like this. This is too short range. In regards to Star Wars, I disagree. Andor. Rogue One. Andor especially is great. And if you're talking about Baby Yoda, yeah, The Mandalorian, at least the first 2 seasons are good. It's already difficult enough for me to dodge it on solid ground, and if the ground's moving, it's even more of an issue. Move! Of course, I take 3 hits, because good, Maker. I thought you were supposed to destroy more chainsaws, but of course not. Of course, thank you, game. I don't... This is also one of the reasons why I prefer to fight him on solid ground, and also wish I could play it on Megamix. I thought it was gonna be safe, so I relaxed a bit, but nope, that means death. You can't rely on Maker to save you. You have to treat it as if it's more like a Kaizo game. Or a troll game, actually. Like, the hardest part of this fight isn't even the fact that they're on the moving ground, it's the fact that I have to use the quick boomerang. I know I have the Thunderful Claw, but that, unless it's the weakness, that's not gonna be effective. If anything, it's gonna make it harder. And now, when you decide to just switch... Okay, we're done. Oh my goodness. Sorry about the fight. Maker itself, because of the engine control issues, it makes it much harder. I would give it a thumbs up if you remove the missing walls, or if you add in walls to replace the weird boundaries. I don't know, Buster. Maybe you'd rectify? Yeah, no one's obligated to make levels, that's just dumb, and people make levels for various reasons. And yeah, and that's... If you keep making levels to satisfy your audience, even if it goes against your own interests, goals, and motivation, that's how you end up with burnout and slop. And that applies to many things, not just levels, but games in general. And movies, books, films, etc., etc. In regards to Megamet, I highly advise you get at least the next demo done ASAP, so you can get it in time for the upcoming Sage. Like, it's coming up in a few months now, so try getting your team's demo done ASAP so you can get it featured there. And it's gonna be a milestone Sage, a major anniversary, so let me see. Excuse me. Yeah, Sage originally began in the year of 2000, so this year's one is going to be the 25th one, if I recall correctly. Or 20th. Because of the differing scheduling, I don't know. Wonderful setups are a bit messy, but I do appreciate that, unlike Jedok, you do try experimenting with your setups more, or varying them up more, and shortening the stage. Anyways, 9th up is Clockwork Exploration by MemYCH, 62 plays, score 24. It's a shame Jaden isn't here, but they're busy with other matters right now. Otherwise, I would have discussed my thoughts on the Steam Next Fest demos. I already know what your favorite one probably is, J Butters. I would give my list of favorites, but I do want to finish one off-screen. Like, there is one that is somehow ended up being my favorite due to my complete accident, even though it was a throw-in. Starlight Revolver is one of those things where a lot of people liked it. I think it's good. I think it's going to be a fine game, or a good game, but it didn't really appeal to me because I'm more looking for something that's more gameplay focused, as I presume. Thematically, though, it's very cohesive. Yeah, Geto Kids is one of those things where I was actually planning on covering it last year, but various things conspired to delay it. And the demo only showcased half the playable characters too, which is funnier. What are you talking about, Jedok? Can you rephrase your sentence? Oh, what do you want me to do? Oh, I see a secret. Oh, if I pull it there, I'm dead. I don't have a punchy, so I'll just move forwards. Nerd's glasses on. It's aliens. Well, that's probably how the plot's gonna develop, Jay Butters. Seeing how important the power of friendship is in these sorts of games and stories. It'd be really funny if that actually worked, but no. I really should actually be using this. Whoopsies. Never actually used topspin either. Of course. The hardest to use weapon is the best one. So the bug I found is that if you have Fuse Man underwater, the transparent water goes black. Not only that, the screen goes shrink? Okay. Okay, let's check it out and see how I'll be able to see it. Alright, time for bug level. 10th up is Fuse Man, Transport Water Bug, green for red, 10th up is Fuse Man, Transport Water Bug, green for yes, red for no. By Jedi74, 70 place, score 35. Okay, let's see the bug. Oh, I see it. Wait. Okay, here's the full screen underwater. Once the fight begins, and when Fuse Man uses their first power, most of the screen goes black. As in, the water that's supposed to be transparent, it just turns into opaque black. However, the top left part of the screen, for whatever reason, it still remains transparent. Like, pay special attention to the top left. No, okay, it stays transparent, sure, but the background changes. As a matter of fact, it's the same background as before, but it's significantly scaled down or shrunk. That's what Jedok was trying to say. Not only does most of the screen's background turn into an opaque black, but the original background gets shrunk into this smaller square in the top left part of the screen. That is very bizarre. It'd be one thing if it'd be one thing if part of the screen gets obscured and the rest is just visible. But in this case, most of the background turns opaque, and then the original BG just gets compressed into that thing. I don't understand what that is. That's a really bizarre bug. And once you defeat Fuse Man, everything returns to normal. I want to reiterate something because, just to make it clear, it'd be one thing if only part of the screen, it'd be one thing if the entire background turns opaque black, or part of it turns opaque black, but the rest is fine. But here, most of the background turns opaque black, and then there's a small corner in the top left, which actually is the original background but scaled down for whatever reason. Why would there be a scaling factor? I don't know. Programming. Could be a lower reason. Ooh. As fun as it'd be to do the stage, I'll save that for next time. When Inspector Gadget locks in. I think this is a good point to end off the stream. We've seen 10 stages. Skyport's level may be nice, but let's save that for next time. So overall, of the 10 Veersmith levels I covered in today's morning stream, my favorite one would definitely be Sharper Silhouette by Toxin G, with an honorable mention going to Cosmic Flower by Sunflora. Good job, you two. And thank you to everyone else who submitted your levels to us. It's really appreciated. So before ending off, it's time for the art showcase. Wily Fortress F is going through lots of changes. And the only thing that I have to use is a skull from the Wily tank and the satellite dish from 10's concept art and Neo Devil Wings. F by Lord G Bit. Cool. Okay, a more scaled version. Schwartz Force. I like the double pun on that. Or not just a double pun, I should be clear. It's a pun for many different things, and it's, well, right. More Sonic stages. Fan-made Sonic levels. If you're watching this, Ulrich, I want to say this. Compared to when you first started submitting these Sonic tile sets, or even just a few years back, you've really improved in terms of the detail and composition. These look like it fit way better in a Saturn-esque game. Maybe even Dreamcast if you want to push it. Especially when you get to this composition. Like, look at the detail on these rocks. Or hills, as well as the background. And thus, this concludes the art showcase. Thank you to everyone who either submitted your levels, your art, or simply participated in chat. It's due to your continued support why I continue to produce new videos for the channel. It's really appreciated. So, if you're enjoying this or any other video or post on the channel, please rate, comment, favorite, and or subscribe as they all help it out. Don't forget to follow me on Blue Sky and Mastodon as well, and join the Discord server as I regularly post updates there. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all either Tuesday or Wednesday evening or Saturday morning. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.